but whatever. Um, Engines of War is a little bit weird. We've noticed this before, but yeah, there's, for example, these are the monster triggers right before the drop down, and there's one more here, and one more there, and we can actually avoid triggering these two, but there's no real need, in my opinion, by not going up until here, but like staying before. Where is it? Yeah, staying before this was flying, kind of. But I think it's kind of unimportant. We can just go up there because we need to pull ambience, and if we trigger boss by doing so, then we just go ahead and yeah, just ledge it or kill it. Either way, it's gonna be fine. Okay, we go in the corner. I still think that staying on this wall here is a lot safer than staying on this wall here. Even if we don't like see everything that's coming up there, but we also do have the advantage that we see stuff that is dropping from that corner and such. So that's kind of also very helpful. Yeah. All right. Let's turn this on as well. Okay. So yeah, then we drop. As you can see, there's one trigger, a monster trigger, and a patrol trigger right when we drop, and the the respawn point here as well, which is right there, back there in the corner. And I would just go ahead and say this is a shit respawn, and we don't want to go back to the drop down. Or even if someone is dead in that corner, we just jump down anyways and stay before this stone here, because as you can see, this is actually the good respawn on the right side. The other one there is on the far back, and I don't really want to go there, so yeah. Ideally, we just drop down when someone's down. Like, we don't go and push when someone just died in the first wave of the horde, but we can ignore waiting for someone. That's what I mean. Then there's also, the stone is kind of a very good indicator, because before it, there's a respawn point, and if we stay before it, we also don't trigger these two boss triggers. There's two of them. And there's another one here, and there's a bunch more when we go over here to the whole spot. And there's actually a very important thing that I noticed when going through this, and that is if we go up to this, yeah, you can see the progress jumping. When we go up to the ledge, the progress jumps, and if you go up here, you actually trigger, well, not this one, but like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more boss triggers? Yeah, 3 more boss triggers. So that's why we have to push in this corner as fast as possible. So the first one here just goes up to this ledge part and just tries to trigger the boss, because if there is one, we have to know it very soon. Because if someone in the middle of the horde starts fighting here and on this ledge, because there's, I don't know, a hook jumping down or whatever, we might trigger a boss, and we don't want that. So yeah. The other option would be just to stay on the left side, or don't go here at all and stay before it. But yeah, you kind of want to stay here, honestly, and we want to move freely. So yeah, just trigger all boss triggers. And if there's one, we kind of want to do the thing where one is just kiting maybe around these stones or something. So we can still see the person kiting and help if there's need to and such. So yeah. About respawn triggers, well, we go before it, or I mean, Cooley mentioned it in one of the sessions. I don't know if you were all there, but he mentioned that only one person has to be in the far back to trigger this respawn trigger. So if there's like 3 people fighting, no, two people fighting the horde, one person down and one person still on the boss, the person with the boss could technically just go back, and the respawn will still be down there, which is kind of nice, but we also have to remember this, and I don't think we will. So yeah, just it's there. It's good to know. Next part, well, there are a bunch of more triggers up to the drop down. So if you want to go all this way to the drop down, we will really have to commit and go to the drop down. So we trigger this boss trigger as well, because if we just start fighting here and then push up, well, boss triggers and we are a little bit in trouble. So about the respawn points that I said earlier, we don't have to go back here, because the respawn point for this cave is right down here, which means if we stay up to the ledge and just hold our position and have someone respawn, they will be right in our next hold spot, which is gonna be perfect. So yeah, let's not fall back here. Just keep safe. Like stay here, just do our stuff. The next respawn point is here. It's also not too bad. It's right below here. So I mean, whatever, honestly. No need to fall back or do whatever. Just hold here, pull the ambience, kill everything, and push up to the next spot, which is gonna be in that corner. Also, this here is a boss trigger. I don't know. There's also another one. So we can actually, on our way from this ramp to the corner, can trigger 2 bosses. So be aware of that. I don't really know what to do in this area, honestly, if we have a boss. Maybe someone kites over there. Maybe if it's a red org, someone stays behind and just tries to hold it, whilst the other try to fight out of the horde or something. We'll have to figure something out, but this is still something that can happen and might happen. I think it also did happen to us at least once. Also for the trigger for the monsters here, if you can see the level progress, this is how far you can go, and then it's even you can't go even that far. What? Yeah, that's how far you can go. That's how far you can go, and then it snaps. So you can't go in the cave at all to hinder the boss trigger that is inside. But we also want to trigger it as soon as we arrive here if we have time to. So it's not a bad thing to do. Just remember that you just have to step in the cave, and that's the trigger. Also, this respawn point is the last one before the drop down, which means like before the next drop down, before the next trigger area. Which means if we have still a boss up and we lose a person, we should do our best to get out of this cave and fight either up here, which would be a risky thing to do, but still safe. Just don't step too far back, because then you see the level progress goes past the respawn point. If we stay up here, it's fine. If you stay further up, it's even better. And ideally, we just go over here to the other side. Because in my opinion, this is actually a pretty good hold spot as well. Don't think anything can jump down there. They all jump down there. And if they seem to overwhelm us for some reason, we can still drop down here, and this stone is the one. Yeah, we can still go up here and just be fine. So I think that's yeah, it should be totally doable to go over there and just go back if we need to. Yeah. Then we push into the cave. Ideally, I don't really know. We always get stuck here on the way from here to this corner. It's super annoying, and I don't know why we do get stuck here, but it happens. So this boss trigger, we trigger outside. But maybe if there's too much stuff in here, we just pull it and go back, hold one more horde outside and do the safe route. Or we truly just push in, because we always get stuck here, and if we don't make it here in time, we get overwhelmed super quickly, because there's always a bunch of ambience we have to pull first before we have to hold here, because otherwise the ambience will all get pulled by the horde that's coming from the front, and we get overwhelmed, which happened to us a bunch of times. So yeah, not good. The healing potion down there should be communicated who's getting it, but there's always one, if I remember. So actually I could just check. There is a... No idea what that means. Well, there's usually one. Whatever. There's a few boss triggers here up here, and none up to this drop down, which means as soon as we got over or past this bridge, we triggered all boss triggers, which means yeah, the next boss trigger will be outside and possibly right there when we drop. Yeah. Also, one more thing, for the person that is pulling stuff, you can just go up here and see pretty far and still pull stuff that's all the way to the bridge. which we might consider doing. Yeah, we can hold here at the drop down, we can hold back there at the fire, at this brazier, or we can drop down if we don't have a boss or anything. And I think Johnny said it before, holding here, I think, yeah, here, felt the safest overall. Because enemies drop there, there, and there. And they also do drop there, I think. I'm not out of ammo. There. And so we should be able to just hold here with our backs to the wall and see everything's going on. I also think it's a better spot than here. Because I don't know why, but I feel like I see less. So yeah, I like this spot over here a little bit more. Alright, pushing up here, there's only like one, yeah, there's one trigger, but then there's only one more. So, if we have to be aware of triggers and drop down, there's no trigger. We don't go further than this wall. And, yeah, like, I don't know, just like not further than the stone, I guess? I don't know, there's no real landmark here. But, if we covered this, we can basically go all the way here to the front, because there's no boss triggers anymore, except this one right before the bridge, at this shortly after this tree. There's also the respawn points, which will be yeah, like before this tree. Just this tree is a good landmark. If we stay before this tree, we get good respawns and not a boss trigger, and if we stay behind this tree, we might get bad respawns and a boss trigger. Also, why I told you that we should always stay before the first half of the bridge. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 boss triggers. Oh, there was one, by the way. 4 boss triggers right in this bridge, in the second half of the bridge. So we stay before here, fighting the fight before the bridge, so we don't ever even like come close to triggering them. And as soon as we're done, we just move past it, trigger or pull everything, and then we can trigger the patrol, which is actually quite far up. I thought it would be right there, but it's actually here. So yeah, at these tree section thing, I don't know, this area here, it's here. So we have to move up to about here to trigger the patrol. No, that's there. I mean, we do know when it triggers, because there's literally only one patrol trigger. That's, by the way, the cool thing about this map. Every trigger area has literally one patrol trigger, which means if we get a patrol trigger in the first area, we get one random boss trigger of these many boss triggers that are scattered around, but we can just easily ledge it there, probably. I mean, or kill it back there. I mean, it's not going to be that hard to kill the boss in this area. But having a patrol here usually fucked us. So, yeah. Would be cool to have a patrol in the first area. Also, after the event, if we have a patrol there, it's going to be so much easier. So much easier. So, yeah. Would be dope. If not, well, shit. But we can do it anyways. A bunch more boss triggers. I think the last one is about pretty far in, actually. At this, further than this stone, it's almost at these trees. Yeah, it's hard to describe, but whatever. Holding here when there's a patrol. Yeah, we should make sure that we don't go too far in back there, because we are usually fucked in this corner. Like very quickly. We should maybe hold up a little further up, maybe here. This should totally be fine, by the way, holding here. There's stuff from the side, and there's stuff dropping from behind, and it's not a cool place to be, but it's the only place we can be when there's a patrol going on. But if the patrol's not here in the moment, we can technically push up. Maybe even push through this log if we can. Or if we can't, or there was a boss or anything, I would definitely prefer holding on the right side of the log, or on the left if you go look from the front, like this side here, because I feel like it's a lot safer. All right, pushing through this log. Also, there's four healing items, 3 on the small fire and 1 on the side of the rock. So next part, middle event. Stuff comes up, we kill it, then we drop down. Respawn trigger is also unimportant. Also unimportant for the rest of for the previous area was unimportant. You just try to go before the bridge to get a respawn that's before the event. That's about it. I think you can even stay behind the bridge to get a respawn before the event, but you should stay somewhere very close to the bridge. Otherwise, the person will be in the event, which is not necessarily bad because we will pick them up anyways when we drop. But it's a thing, you know. It's a thing. All right. My part will be the barrels. Your part will be kiting. It's not. I think we did it often enough. I don't have to go into it. But I wanted to show you one thing, and that is about the boss that occasionally can trigger. The reason for that is if you stay too close on the wall, which you can't absolutely do nothing about. But if you can see that, like 64% right here around this wheel here, it's like 64% where it jumps, and it just jumps out of the event and continues on the path, which means it triggers. Where is it? Here. It triggers these 2 possible boss triggers, and if we get a boss after the event, meaning if we had a boss in the first area and a patrol in the second, and then we moved in the event close to the wall, which will definitely happen, and then get one of these 2 boss triggers, we will get a second boss in the event, which is not that bad, but also a bit annoying, and maybe we should consider me not doing the barrels then, and instead just staying with you, killing the boss first, and then doing the barrels, which will definitely cost us some time, but will have some time later on, because we won't have a boss anymore after this event. So yeah, win or lose, after we got this event done, we continue our path. And I think, I mean, when the door opens, there's always going to be the red ogre or a spawn or whatever, and we will have to move out. And moving out is kind of weird because we don't really know where to hold. I don't know either. It's a weird place to hold. We can't hold in front of this gate, and we have to push as fast as we can out of this gate to get through these trenches. The best place to hold so far was here, but it's also not very good. I honestly have no clue where we can hold. It's one of the things we still have to test out, but we could technically hold here at the ammo box. I mean, everyone has ammo and shit, but I don't know. Still doesn't feel very safe. There's stuff spawning from all sides as well, so yeah, it's not very cool. I think this place is so far the safest, but it's also not really cool, because if we want to leave, we want to leave as quick as possible, and if someone still has to get ammo, it's not going to be as quick. But either way, after the horde ends and we have an opening, we push out, and we push very, very, very quick, because this path is very long, as you can see, and we push all the way to here. We do pass a few boss triggers, so might be a boss. No patrol yet. Patrol's in the next area. We do pass a few boss triggers. If we have a boss here, I think we do the same thing as the first area. We have one person just running around with the boss, the rest fighting off the horde. Fighting off the horde here shouldn't be that big of an issue, but yeah, it's quite an open area, so be aware of the gas and blightstormers and all this stuff. Respawn points are also not very great. Just all of the respawn points are going to be in the next area, just on very on different points in this next area. So we might have to move the upper way, we might have to move the lower way. It's a bit of a weird path. Either way, the best bet for respawn points is probably staying here, getting this respawn point. But yeah, I won't go back to the event to get a better respawn point. Not gonna happen. If we're here, we're here. this going through this trench is probably one of the hardest parts straight after the event. Okay, there's a few more boss triggers here. I don't really know when to trigger them and in how quickly we can trigger them. I would just say we push up as fast as possible after that, and yeah, we can go low, we can go high. I would say we go high because if we're high we can drop down, not the other way around. But it's also a very long path because from the previous hold spot we have to push up to either in this corner where we can drop down again to the Grim spot and such, or we hold here, which will give us another item spawn and yeah, a pretty open area. I think they can drop here. I'm not 100% sure, but besides that, this should be pretty much safe. We can also drop down here if we need to, go back there, and can move up here, which is also going to trigger the patrol in this area. The patrol is... no, it's actually gonna trigger as soon as we go to the next hold spot, so yeah. Also, this here is a drop down, we can get back up there. Be aware of that. There's a respawn point here, which is, I believe, the one that I just showed you before. I'm just gonna go ahead and check before I start talking bullshit. Nope. Alright, so I think Salt Spire I spawned at first, which means both are... oh, both are at the vent. Okay, fuck it, I can't show you right now, but I believe the one I showed you before is this one. Yes, it is. So if you go upstairs and then drop down after that, we do get this respawn, which would be perfect. If we go past that, we would probably get this respawn, which would be alright too, but we would have to drop down and have to maybe cross a patrol, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, a little bit annoying. Last time we held down here, which worked mostly fine. I think that was one of the safest spots to deal with a lot of stuff we haven't pulled and such, but I think the safer spot could technically be here in this corner, so which means we would, just to connect things again, hold back there, drop down here, pick up a fallen comrade, go in this corner here and hold here, which means by going here we trigger a patrol, by the way. And a bunch of boss triggers if we go all the way here, because this path goes right there and there are more boss triggers up until right here actually. 78% must be all the way to the... yeah, it's right here. So oh, look at this, a patrol, nice. I don't know the exact patrol path, so probably have to check this again if we're safe here anyways, but if we're not, we hold down there. If we are, we can hold here. Same with boss triggers and such. Don't know what to do with the boss trigger here. I would probably assume we just go back or push front, but going back is probably the safest way. Out here, there's usually not too much ambience, but a little bit, and also no, like absolutely almost nothing up until the drop here. Also no boss triggers, although they are more after the drop, so can push up here freely. Shouldn't drop down if we haven't had a boss yet, though. The respawn here is, if I remember correctly, right in the middle of this area, which means we should probably go back to the drop down here if we want to get a good respawn, and push up front if we don't have someone down. These boss triggers here, yeah, well, we passed them. And if we have a boss, we kill them, and if not, we don't. So I don't know, that's not too much to talk about here. We can hold all the way at the drop down, we can hold back here in the corner, or we can hold here in this I don't know, curve. I'm not really sure what to call it. The respawns here are also all not very important. I mean, they are gonna be before the event or after the event. It's really just after this There's even the one last boss trigger. Look at this. We can get a boss right before the last end event. What the fuck is this? Oh no, don't worry. There's even one more. There's one more boss trigger right here. What is this? Well, whatever. If we have a boss, we can hold here, I guess. Or yeah, I don't know. It's pretty annoying, honestly. There's items here if we need any. If not, we just push in, honestly. By the way, small fun fact: if we go right here, on the right after the bridge to the right, which does work, you can jump over the bridge here. So if you do that, you can actually drop down here in the event as well. Didn't know that? Maybe you did. I don't know. I don't care. Now you do. Kill everything in here. We start here. Someone rings the bell. Get some items, probably items in the house as well. So check that first, obviously. Then we run around the house 2 times. Probably 3 times. Push a little bit faster on the open area. Push a little bit slower in the open area. Push faster in the closed area. Watch this drop here. I hate it because I always get stuck there, but I'm probably the only one that's as dumb as it gets and falls down there. But yeah. And then yeah, we leave. Easy. GG. Good job. I don't know. For respawns, probably this spawn's interesting, but that's I think everyone knows these 3 spots. And yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot to talk about there anymore. Just simply put, the boss triggers in the after the middle event will suck, and we will probably have to be super careful with them because there's a shit ton of them, and we can even get one right before the end event. So if we are reliant on something like a troll ammo, we always have to keep this in mind, that we yeah, I don't know, spare some ammo or something. And don't forget that there's still a boss up. Alright, I think that's all about this level. There's quite a bit weird stuff in this map, but also a few very good hold spots. If we make it to the middle event, I'm actually pretty sure we can actually go through the end, to the end, because the middle event in practice, after we tried it a few more times, felt a lot more safe. And I mean, if someone dies, it's really not a big thing, so I'm sure we can make it.